Bruins are set for a huge game two tonight against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I'll be streaming up until just about the beginning of that game, but I got some news to cover on William Nylander, as well as the goaltending situation. We still don't know who's going to be starting for this game, but we likely will find out here, probably in the stream, depending on how long I go. I got my Twitter pulled up on the other side just to see if any news comes out, but a very, very nervous game time once again, heading towards this game a little under an hour away. But I did want to start out with a new William Nylander update that we got. And seemingly, he will be out once again until game three, for as long as we know. And we do have an update on when this probably occurred from the Maple Leafs timeline. But this is a tweet. We got it from Chris Johnson earlier today. He said, Sheldon Keefe leaves the door open to William Nylander potentially playing tonight. And he says, we'll see how he feels here the rest of the day and then make a decision. Pretty much what we heard in game one as well. Now, that was earlier today, now it's seeming like he won't be in from what we know, from what we've seen so far, but still, we haven't heard anything guaranteed. But Mark Masters also tweeted pretty much at the same time saying that he is pointing, all signs pointing to him being out for this. Yeah, Nick, I'm pretty sure he is out from what we've been seeing with Mark Masters. But from the Leafs Digest video, another tweet here I'm going to put up on screen right now. This one here from Jordan Schmaltz pretty much goes on to say that it was a result of game 82 where he got an upper body injury. Now, whether this is true, seeming like we don't really know whether or not this is exactly what happened. It does seem like that could be the case. It would make sense in all situations here, but for the Bruins, this is a situation that they need to take advantage of once again. This is one where we've seen it last game. They were definitely missing William Nylander here on this game one. That was really the main thing they were missing is William Nylander. They were playing well, but it was noticeable William Nylander was not on the ice in that situation. And this is another one. I'm going to say it again. The Bruins need to take advantage of this here going into game number two. Keep it on the mind. The Maple Leafs know that he's probably going to be out. They're going to have that on their mind. This stadium is still going to be bumping from game one. And I'm ready for the Bruins to come out here and fully take advantage of that. But we get another one here from Michael Sullivan. That is just saying big if true if he's out. Wyatt, seems like he's out from what we have seen. It's a pretty weird situation for what we've seen. I'll pull this screenshot up once again for you if you just tuned in about what is possibly happened to William Nylander here for him to be out. So if he is out, another big situation the Bruins are going to have to take an advantage of. But it's tough for William Nylander. It's tough for the Bruins. You got to admit it, even though you might not want to say it. You might not want to admit that it's a big loss for the the Maple Leafs, sorry. But the game's the game. They probably shouldn't have played him in game 82 if that's where he did get hurt. And it really is kind of their own fault. You hate to say it, but for the Bruins, it works out well. But yeah, once again, there's more updates I'm sure are going to be coming here when warm-ups start soon based on what they're seeing in the arena and all the analysts and everything there. So I'll keep you guys updated if I do see anything on that side on my my other screen for Twitter here. But it is a very, very big one if this is going to be, if he's going to be out for who knows how long. It's going to be it's going to be very fun. But I'm very nervous for this game, guys. I'll say it. I'm sure you've seen me in game one. What I said pre-game. It's going to be a very nervous game once again. We know the abilities of this Toronto Maple Leafs team. We know what they can do, whether they're missing a top player or not, and what they can do under some pressure situations. And you can't really take anything for granted against this Toronto Maple Leafs team at all. Even in the playoffs, they know their history. We know their history, especially against these two teams. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting game. What on the goaltending side they decide to do, what on the what the Maple Leafs, what the Bruins learned against each other, what changes are going to be made here. I'm very excited to see what does happen. But in this game, like I said, the goaltending, that's really what we're going to be watching again here today. We still don't know who's going to start this game. Jim Montgomery really didn't say much, but we're really wondering what's going on, what's going to happen here for the long run, going into for the foreseeable future of this series. What's going to happen, whether they lose or win today, who's in net. There's going to be a whole lot of a big series of events that are going to go down here. But Ty Anderson tweeted this out earlier. He said, Montgomery said his starting goalie tonight has 2 vowels in his first and last name. And for those who are wondering, that is both Jeremy Swayman and Linus Ullmark, as well as Brandon Bussey. So, I mean, realistically, it could be any 3 of those, but still, revealing absolutely nothing. And this is still going to be a trend, I'm gonna guess, for this whole series. It worked out last game. Didn't know until early on in the evening who it was going to be in net. Ended up being Jeremy Swayman. Played a fantastic game. I will pull up the box score here, as you can see on the bottom. 35 saves, 36 shots. Very, very good game for him. Seems to have the Leafs number. So there are reasons for both of these guys, whether they want to start Swayman, they want to start Ullmark. The rotation is obviously the one that has worked out in the past. The thing that has been the key for the Bruins' success, to be honest with you, this year. And I really think that it's going to be an interesting thing to see whether they stray away from that, whether they go. For what it's worth, Joe Haggerty put on Twitter that he expects it's going to be Ullmark just to rotate them again, but really we won't know until Jim Montgomery says what he says, who's starting and whatnot, and his reasoning behind it. So it's going to be just a waiting game at this point. We can't really make any guesses from what we've seen. If it were me, I really don't know at this point. You know, I've been going back and forth on whether it should be Linus Ullmark, keep the rotation going, whether it should be Jeremy Swayman, who won the last game very, very good, in a very good game, against the Maple Leafs and played very well and has all season against them. So I don't know at this point. I'm just really going to see what we can see until the game time. But this is another quote from Jim Montgomery, which kind of leads me to an interesting place. He just says, "We're still contemplating, what's the right way to go," and he told that told reporters after the game. So once again, Jim Montgomery, whether he's hiding it, whether he don't know yet, whether he don't know, as of reporting that, what he wants to do, it's going to be just a situation where I think they're gonna have to evaluate game 1 and 2 here. I think it's probably going to be Linus Ullmark this game, and then after that they judge what's the best option, because I think they want to keep them game 1 and 2 to see what the best case scenario is here for these goalies, and I'm excited to see, to be honest with you. The nerves are still there, but we have the tandem that it's going to be worth it for either goalie to start, and I think we'll end up in a good result. NL Ryder says, "Whoever is in, Coach Monty will be raked over the coals if they lose. Everyone will say you should have played the other guy." That's exactly the case, too, in this situation. I'm sure Jim Montgomery knows that based on what happened last year. And it is the unfortunate truth. That's really all we can say about this. But I really think they're at a situation with the goaltending now that whatever goalie is in net, I think will have their own job. They know what they need to do. They will have success no matter what. And it's gonna work out. And you say roll with Swayman until he loses, I think that's probably the right idea. They don't want to keep him in too long, I think, is the situation where they're kind of afraid to go into territory with what they did last year with Ullmark. They took him out too late, but I think that the rotation they've had for the past 26 games or whatever it's been is going to help out with the situation for whatever's going to happen. Ringside Digest, DeBrusque to the Blackhawks confirmed next season. I mean, from what we've seen with DeBrusque so far in this playoffs, I know it's only one game, but those 2 goals that I'll pull up in the box score again here. 2 goals, 1 assist. That he's a playoff guy. So whether the Blackhawks want him now or not, that's something going to have to go into the future to see whether he will fit into that roster. But for what it's worth as well, we've seen their GM go in and say that they're trying to take a next step next year. So whatever happens. But I'm focused on DeBrusque this playoffs. That's the main thing that we're going to keep an eye on here. But NL Ryder, going back to the goalies, is rolling with Swayman until he loses, I think, is probably the best option here, especially against the Leafs, since he really has had their number and has continued to in these playoffs. And it's really been he's making a case for himself to start here in this game as well. So Jim Montgomery, I know he has a big thought to go into this game here, but it's going to be one where whatever the result is, we want to see this. It don't matter who got the mask on, who got the cap on. If we see this at the end of a game, it's a successful one. And I think that Ullmark and Swayman both could easily be in that situation. But it's going to be a matter of time before we know, like I said. And I'm just going to refresh Twitter here and see if we got anything new. We don't yet, but it's only going to be a matter of time until warm-ups start that we actually will find out who it's going to be. So yeah, it's gonna be a good game regardless of what happens. I think the Bruins are gonna come out knowing the Leafs are gonna be acknowledging the loss last time, and I think the Bruins are gonna come out even stronger. I'm gonna pull up the box scores here now as well. I know we pulled the Bruins up already, but it's gonna be I think a situation. I think it's gonna be a situation where we're gonna see a lot of this again, resembling a box score of the wealth is gonna be spread on the offense. Just about everybody in the offense there, apart from a few people, got a point or two. Jake DeBrusk being the real guy on that team, and it's gonna be a game that every Bruin needs to step up once again, and you're gonna have to against this Leafs roster, even without William Nylander. Can't go to Toronto tied 1-1. That is exactly right. The Bruins have a great atmosphere in their stadium, but so does Toronto. So I think that you really want to leave Boston up 2-0 to be able to take this momentum back. You're going to go back to Boston then and just have a better advantage over the Leafs in that situation. The Leafs will be desperate at that time. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate you. Love that. The streamer's very attractive. Yeah, but I'll pull up the Leafs box score here as well. You can see from last game, there was a pretty hefty number on their first line of Marner, Matthews, as you would. Those are really the guys that you're going to rely on. But I think that the Leafs really need to, once again, start to move the puck a bit more. I know they were doing that last game, but they really needed to start getting the puck to some guys that you probably wouldn't expect. We know Tyler Bertuzzi has been very good as of late in the regular season, and that's something that is going to be... I think a case here in this game. I think they're going to want to get him into more action because with Marner, Matthews, and really Nylander out, those are the three guys that we know they can rely on. Those are the three guys that are going to be the main guys on that team. So it's pretty easy to see what the Leafs want to do and when they're going to try and do it. But the Bruins are just also a great defensive team. So I do expect that this is going to be something that they're going to try in this game. I think that's something that we're going to know they're going to try to do. If I'm trying to put it in the right way. But yeah, it's going to be a very interesting time to see what happens in this game. I think this is going to be the real telltale game as well. It's going to be... They're going to learn a lot from game one, especially in this game. We're going to see those changes, and I think it's going to be something that is going to be noticeable this game. I know it's going to be... I'm trying to repeat myself, but that's what is going to look like from a viewer standpoint, whether in the stadium, watching on TV, or whatnot. Rotate and keep them fresh is my opinion. Keep Toronto shooters guessing too. It's kind of like baseball in that third or fourth at bat, you just start to get beat on the pitcher. That's exactly right as well. Especially with the players that this Toronto Maple Leafs team has, the goal scoring aspect from their stars. They know how to adapt to a goalie after a change or after a while. They can start to read him. And even though Swayman went, 3-0 against the Maple Leafs in the regular season, those games weren't back-to-back-to-back. There was still a little while between those games. So if you give a guy like Matthews enough time, just over a few days, to get a bit of video on Swayman, get a bit of video on Ullmark or whoever's starting, he will be able to adapt to them. He'll be able to see the patterns that are coming off the goalie, the way he comes out of the crease, the way he's squaring up to a puck and going on a 2-on-1 or whatnot. So, it's another great decision just to keep them rotating. Not letting the Bruins or the Maple Leafs know who is starting, I think, is another important thing. And keeping it what they have now, kind of hidden until warm-ups, or trying to keep it hidden. I know it's probably not always going to, and there's going to be some Maple Leaf spies, I guess, or whatever. I think that's what they need to keep doing. Really keep them guessing, whether maybe you even go Swayman here this game and then Ullmark next game and then back to Swayman, or just trying to keep them thrown off a bit. Whether it's not an exact rotation, I think those are really the main things that we're going to see here for this Bruins team going into the rest of the playoffs, not even just the Leafs. Whether they advance into round two, I think they're going to want to do the same. There's still some elite talent, especially this year. The goal scoring is all out of whack. We see a guy like Sam Reinhart getting 50, Zach Hyman getting 50, and a bunch of people close to that. So they're going to have to learn at some point that the rotation will work, but you might need to skew it sometimes, change it up a bit here and there to make sure some other teams don't know. But we're about 30 minutes away to find out who's actually going to start in the warm up. So game starts 8:30 my time. Currently 7:45, and we'll know about 15-20 minutes before game time when the warm ups are happening. But I'm liking the chances here on this game. If Ollie played game one, it's still a 5-1 game. That's absolutely right, as well. Jeremy Swayman definitely played good from the box score. You can see here, too. I mean, not even just the box score, the 35 saves on 36 shots. But the Leafs really didn't have too many excellent chances. They were definitely still had those chances, and Swayman definitely kept them in the game, but I don't think it's anything Ullmark couldn't do. And, Ullmark, the former Vezina winner last year, Jeremy Swayman there as well. I think that it's going to be a very interesting situation to go through for this situation regarding of who would have done what in what situation, who's playing here and whatnot. It's I think there's a lot of analytics too, which is nowadays in the game nowadays, but I'm excited to see what happens regardless. And Ringside Digest once again, Swayman or Ullmark next season? It's a good question. Swayman is going to be getting a contract. I'm going to say around $7 million with the Bruins, but I have a bit of a different opinion on what they're going to do with Linus Ullmark. I think that a lot of people are thinking he's going to be traded in the offseason. I think they should keep him once again, kind of keep this goalie rotation once again, and have both of them playing. If let's just say Swayman gets $7 million, around that'll be about $12 to $13 million in goalies, which is really not bad with the cap going up, how much cap the Bruins are going to have and how many changes they're going to make in this offseason. I would like to see a goalie rotation because you always love to see this at the end of a game. They've both mentioned how much each other has meant to them and really impacted their play and their mindset. But I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going to happen. I would like to see them both there. Oh, sorry, Siri. Give Swayman another opportunity to get his wheels going, more of a starter rather than a full rotation, and then I think that would be the right decision to make. Shouldn't make a difference to the shouldn't make any difference to the Leafs. Yeah, no, you're right. It's their goals to go out there and get goals. The Bruins goalies, Swayman and Ullmark, are out there to make the save. So regardless, it's just a learning habit for both of these teams. Who's going to be better? And that's really the story about this. And it's a lot simpler than it may seem. But for them, for the goalies and the shooter, it's a lot more to think about when going in that opportunity. The Leafs and the Titanic have in common. All right, now I'm not gonna say you're wrong, but I'll leave that to for you to read if you want to. But you're not wrong. I'll say that, Nick. You're not wrong. Let's check any more updates we have here. Any reliable sources? No, not yet. No changes yet for the goaltending situation. Nothing about William Nylander either. I will pull this up for those who were not here earlier. Once again, Jordan Schmaltz put this out about a suspected Nylander injury. Apparently, this happened in Game 82, where he probably shouldn't have played. He may have received an upper body injury. Not going to get into specifics, he says, but the full extent of the injury, keep him out of Game 1. Maybe keep him out of this game, too. It's leaning towards that. We still don't know yet, but it's seeming to be that he will be out in this game as well, which is going to be a very big thing for the Bruins to take advantage of if they can. Gregor Smith, getting the first goal is so important. I agree, especially in TD Gardens. A lot of teams benefit from home ice advantage, but if the Bruins can get the momentum going early, get an early goal, get the stadium rocking, I can very much see the Leafs kind of shying away a bit, or either making a lot of mistakes trying to push the pressure, push the play too much. And no, I agree with you there, absolutely. It's going to be a very big thing to get home ice or the first goal here tonight on home ice. So let's get ready to see that, and hopefully this will be the case here in this game. I expect the Bruins to come out once again firing on all cylinders. I think that this team really has taken a major step up from what we had seen in the regular season. Yeah, it's gonna be a big thing to see if they can get Game 1 going here. Yeah, still no update. I'm feeling like we're gonna get an update here soon regarding anything, because coverage on Hockey Night Canada starts in 10 minutes. So when we get to that, we may see some quotes from Elliot Friedman here, Kyle Bukauskas, whoever is in Boston for this game. knowing that they'll probably have some information on the bench or whatnot. That guy also said Allmark was the game starter. NL Ryder, was that Jordan Schmaltz him? This one here? If so, that will be an interesting thing to see if he is right, because we may have to take a few looks at his tweets just to see if he has any insider information. Well, he must have some insider information if he is saying that this is the reason that William Nylander is out for this potentially out for this game, but was out for game one. Because he was taking line rushes and everything this morning. Thank you, Gregor. I very much appreciate that. It's the first stream, so if anything is a bit messy, I do apologize. It will be fixed. I'm trying to do more of these throughout the playoffs. I feel like it's the best opportunity to, discuss with you guys live before the game. That it's a good way to communicate about what we're gonna see here in just over 40 minutes in a very exciting game. I will have a look at that. NL Ryder. Let's see. Okay, J Swish. It's an odd username. Okay, yeah, interesting. I see that. Yes, Nick, X's Twitter. It's gonna be, yeah, he's, if you're Bruins Jim Montgomery, you would have to be on a 4-day PC. Oh, well, okay, never mind. That's not what I was reading. Don't overthink it. Swayman's 4-0 against the Leafs with a sub 950 save percentage. You go back to his chin 100%. Interesting. And someone was saying, that was a retweet to exactly what people said about Allmark in Game 1 last year, making 31 saves in a 3-1 win, rotate. Yeah, I think it's really going to be a toss-up. I think it's whatever the management is going to decide to do, but it's also that these guys, like, this is a pretty rare thing to see nowadays where the goalies are so close that the conversation between them, like, they want each other to play, but they also want it, so, like, they're not mad at whoever gets in the net. But, I think right now that it's going to be one or the other, and then there might just go rotation, because I don't think there's a loss here, potentially, like, it's either whether Swayman plays good again, Allmark stays hot once again, and if it don't work, they will rotate. So I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on whoever I think should start, but I think after this game, it's going to be pretty important to go back to the rotation. If Willie does play, the Bruins need to hit him every chance. That is true. It's the unfortunate truth, Gregor, that they will need to take advantage of him being injured, his upper body injury, if that is the case. Knowing that he's going to be, I don't want to say scared with the puck, but he's going to be vigilant about who's around him, who's going to be on his tail all night, especially with the Bruins, the physicality they showed last game. I think that is going to be what they're going to need to do, especially. But they won't be able to take their eyes off of Marner, Matthews, and like that other talent they have. Uncle H, are you going to stream through the game? I'm not. I'm going to end this stream here before the game, so probably around 8:25, 8:30. But later in this series, I may stream a watch-along game. This is the first one. I wanted to give it a try before the game, just to get some updates and news going. But yeah, I will not be streaming throughout the game here today. Emily Kaplan just tweeted that Montgomery knew 2 weeks ago who was starting Game 2. I'm accepting the fact that Jim Montgomery straight lying to us now. He's been lying to us, and I'm kind of okay with that as long as the Maple Leafs don't know as well. I think that was really an advantage that they had in Game 1 where they didn't know who they were going up against. Whether they watched film on both, it's still a lot to take in from one or the other. But once again, I trust either of these goalies in any situation. I think Jim Montgomery has learned from last year, though. I think they might rotate, but or that might have been the plan, but Jeremy Swayman just played so good that I don't know if they're actually going to change that. So whether or not he kept the same decision, I don't doubt that he had a plan. I think that's a pretty good one, but it's going to be interesting to see what he decides to go with and what the reaction will be as well to whatever or whoever starts. Yeah, Gregor, the game is at 7, but I'm in Newfoundland, so it's 8:30 for me. So it's going to be, yeah, it's an hour and a half later. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at the Emily Kaplan tweet now. Info is tight here, and there's a lot of gamesmanship in the Leafs-Bruins series. But as I reported, ESPN's The Point, Jim Montgomery told us the decision for who will start in net for Game 2 was made by his staff a week ago. And I will pull that up here. Let me screenshot this 1 second. That's all good. No worries. No worries. I know it can be confusing, especially with the time zones and everything for Newfoundland, since, like, we're the only spot with that. But here's that tweet that we were just discussing about. The info is tight here. There's a lot of gamesmanship in this Leafs and Bruins series. But as I reported, the ESPN's The Point, Jim Montgomery told us the decision for who to start in net for the Bruins in Game 2 was made by his staff a week ago. L. Ryder, are you? That is sick. I'm actually surprised there's some Bruins people in here. You know, a lot of, some Newfoundland fans in here. Newfoundland folks in here, sorry. I know there are a lot of Bruins fans here, but it's pretty cool seeing someone from the province. But once again, that is a very big screenshot here. I pulled it up once again. Info is tight. There's a lot of gamesmanship, but they knew 2 weeks ago. I think this is going to be one where it could have changed, but I think this might be the case. I agree with you, Felix. I don't think it really matters who starts in net. I think that either of these two goalies have the confidence, are capable of getting a win here. And I'm happy with whoever starts, to be honest with you. Now, whatever happens after this game, if there's something goes wrong with either of the goalies, maybe we change it up, maybe something happens. But for Game 2, I'm okay with either, to be honest with you. Sheldon Keefe, more like Melman from Madagascar. Oh, man. I mean, I can see it. Sheldon Keefe as well. I want to talk about this a minute. Sheldon Keefe, he's not I don't think he's the sharpest tool in the shed, you know, and I'm not a coach. I'm not an NHL coach, but I don't know whose decision it was either to play William Nylander in Game 82. He don't have the right responses for anything. He just seems like he makes a lot of mistakes to me, and that probably just from an outsider standpoint. I don't know exactly how Leafs fans feel about this, and if there are any here, let me know. But I just don't see him being the best NHL coach, you know. And I know this team is talented, this Leafs team. They should definitely have some, probably some better situations going, but Sheldon Keefe to me just don't seem like that guy. Gets a ton of hate from Leafs fans. I can see that. I see a lot of just broad hate, but I didn't know if there's any, like, sneaky ones that actually like him. And as well, it's going to be Ollie then. I'm okay with either, Gregor. You know, it's definitely going to be a situation where whatever happens. It's a learning curve for this game. I think then in Game 3 is going to be the real situation where it goes down to analytics, stats, and the advanced stuff that we're not even going to see. Thought you're from Boston. That's awesome. Yeah, it's Leafs hiring Luke Richardson confirmed. Luke Richardson, I will say, is a fantastic coach. He's a very, very good coach. It's unfortunate he just don't have the team in Chicago right now. But you can see what he's been doing with some of those players like Jason Dickinson and all them. A very, very good good situation that they're in. And from what we've seen, looks like they're going to be going for a bigger push next year. Now, I don't think it'll still be good, but it's going to be something nice to see in the change for the Blackhawks. All jokes aside, he's getting outcoached for the 5th series in a row. I really don't think it's hard to outcoach Sheldon Keefe, if I'm going to be honest with you. Sheldon Keefe is, just like I said, just from an outsider standpoint, he makes some questionable moves for this team. And in interviews and everything, he's just really he don't feel confident, I guess is what I'm trying to say. He don't seem like he's confident in what he's trying to say or anything. Richardson's at least staying through the rebuild there. Yeah, no, that's the smart move to make him. Thank you, NL Rider. Appreciate the sub. And make sure, guys, if you are new to the channel, make sure to hit the sub button. I'll be doing streams, videos, all types of news stuff throughout this series, and well, also in the off season, wherever that wherever that starts. Hopefully it's a lot later than some other teams are going to have here in a few minutes, or a few weeks, but I will be keeping you guys updated with everything, and make sure to like the stream. Pushes it out to a lot of Bruins fans. We can get more conversation going, some more outsider opinions, which is going to be a good thing here, especially with the goaltending situation where you have so many people who don't really know the situation. Bergeron got hurt in game 82 and was a shell of himself. Yeah, he was. And, that goes the same with a lot of players. When you get hurt, especially going into the playoffs, and I know the playoffs are a whole different game, they're going to be putting their body on the line, some players, but some also just realize that they are going to be hurt, and they're scared to get, a worse injury than what they already have, or scared to take a hit, block a shot, and whatnot. So, unless they feel confident, they don't want to risk having Nylander in this lineup. I think that he will be out here tonight in this game. Pastrnak rocking a nice suit in tonight's game. That's nice. Still no updates on the goalie, guys. So, if it is Allmark from what we've seen, from what Montgomery has been saying, this is going to be a very big game. An interesting tweet here from the NHL Network as well. Let me screenshot this and put it. I don't know if this is freezes when I take a screenshot, but if it does, that's the reason. Okay. A pretty nice one here. This is what you really do like to see, especially going into tonight's game. The last 5 games against the Maple Leafs. 5-1, 4-1, 4-1, 4-3, and a 3-2 shootout. The big thing here is Bruins have not trailed at any point in any game during this span. And let's not get that going tonight. Let's get another massive win here. And let's go out here and really eliminate the Leafs quickly. Better for us, get some healthier players going. Another update I will give you actually here. Hold on, I forgot to do this earlier. Is Derek Forbort. He is apparently going to be an option. He's going to be an option soon, apparently. He's begin skating at practice again. This is what I don't know what this is from, to be honest. I'm sorry about that. But he says he's not an option tonight. He's making progression. Hopefully in the near future, he might be an option, which would be a huge thing for the Bruins. He hasn't played in a long time. Injuries are definitely there. But if he can get back, I don't think you want to rush him in a situation where he hasn't played in so long. They have a lot of defense that can suit up, Mason Lohrei, Parker Wotherspoon. Those two could definitely help out. But Derek Forbort, another pretty big one if he does come back, knowing the experience that he has in his NHL career. Sometimes he has lost for thoughts. Sheldon Keefe, he definitely does. He just don't have that NHL experience yet, I guess you could say, after coming up from the Marlies, after his coaching stuff, and then that whole situation. He just doesn't have what it takes, I don't think. Allmark for Boston, Nick? Is that confirmed? Allmark for Boston. Chris Johnson out for Rams. Appears as though he will alternate their starting goalie for a 28th straight game. Very, very, very big. And I will put this screenshot up here once again. For those who are not listening without audio, which I don't know if anybody is, but I will put this here because this is huge. Allmark for game 2. Okay. So, what do we think about this? Think this is a good idea? Did you want to rotate Swayman? I don't hate the decision. I've said it 4 times to stream, but I don't hate the decision. I think this is a very good one. Keep the rotation going. It's worked. I know Swayman's been the better goalie, but he's going to be here next game as well. So if they do continue that rotation, it'll still be fine. If Allmark starts off cold, we don't know if he will. Put Swayman in. It's pretty simple at this point what could happen, but I do like the situation here. Gregor Smith, if we go up 2-0 tonight in against Toronto, we're styling. I agree. That is going to be a very, very big thing if they can go up here. Any updates on Brazeau? Sorry, Felix, I missed that. What the last update that I seen was he's progressing. He's shooting and skating once again, but he's not going to be here yet. He could be later this series. Hopefully next series if he's not here at all this one. If they make it, if they continue, but it will be a very big thing when he comes back. That's one thing they're missing is a Justin Brazeau. He played down here with the Newfoundland Growlers. I loved him. He was a very, very good player. I liked his game from then. I liked his game in the OHL, and I like his game on Boston. So I think this is going to be a very big one if he can come back sooner than later. No Nylander either. Another big thing. One that we had projected, so that's a big thing. Yep, that Boston will need to take advantage of once again. Scott McLaughlin and Steve Conroy. Yep, there we go. That's another big one confirmed. Okay, so pretty much the same as what we seen last game here for the Boston Bruins against the Maple Leafs, apart from a few changes lineup-wise internally, but no new players from what it seems like. Nothing, no major changes. I'm excited to see what happens here tonight. Depends on if they win or lose. Yeah, I really think that's going to be the case for the goaltending situation as of next game. You know, I mentioned, I can't remember what video it was, but I mentioned that I think they're going to go Swayman, Allmark, or Allmark, Swayman for game 1 and 2. And then after that, they're going to kind of feed off who did well, if anything went wrong and whatnot, and keep it going like that. I love Braz and Boqvist. I would like to see them with Maroon on the fourth line. I agree. I feel like Maroon and Brazeau with Boqvist would be a really solid line, especially against this Bruins team from the physicality we seen last game. I think that's going to be a very fun line if we can get to that at some point in this playoffs. You know, Brazeau, I really would like to see him in a playoff situation. I think that he would be a very, very well-suited playoff player, I guess you could say, is the best way I'm trying to describe that. But if he can get back at any point in this series, I think it's a must. I think they would need to get him back here if they do go down. Lose a ton of speed, though. That is true, that you do lose a ton of speed, but Brazeau's skill, I think, is a part that a lot of people don't... I shouldn't say a lot of people don't know, because we know about it, all of us here, but a lot of people will not focus on him on the ice. So I think that would be it would be a great fourth line, Uncle H. That would be one that we would see a lot of energy come from. We seen the fourth line score the first goal yesterday. I want to hear your opinion because you're a Bruins fan. The Leafs have any chance of winning the series? I definitely do think they have a chance of winning the series. I think Nylander would definitely help out with that right now. But he is out for this game, once again, confirmed now from many, many people. But they definitely do have a big chance, especially with Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Nylander. Absolutely. I think they could really win this game. If Boston goes back to what we'd seen at like the end of the regular season when they were a bit down on their game, this series could be over in 4 games. I hate to admit it, but I see a world where that could happen. Maroon has to be a great voice in the dressing room. Exactly, NL, right? I've seen that as well. I don't know who tweeted it, but it was an interview from Montgomery discussing after game 1 of the playoffs how good Maroon has been. Just discussion on the bench, keeping the energy up, and that was really the option that was the reason that he was traded to this Boston team. How do you take Beecher out after game 1? He's very good at the faceoff dot. He definitely don't have that experience yet, and I think that he's going to have a lot of potential, but I don't know. I think that he could be a very big part in their future, especially in the playoff future, but just not yet. How we feel about going far? I'm telling you, Celtics Digest, I like it. I really like it, but it's also the nerves are there, and we've seen some issues here and there throughout the end of the regular season that would need to be addressed in the playoffs, which they have so far. It's only been 1 game, but they've been addressed so far, and I do like what we're seeing here. At least in game 1. In game 2, I think tonight's going to dictate a lot for both of these teams here. If the Leafs try to be physical, the Bruins got them. Absolutely, Uncle H. We've seen that last game where the Bruins were out physicalitying them. You know, they were more physical. They were definitely more physical, and the Maple Leafs started to get frustrated. Domi started to get frustrated, took some really bad penalties, and that's when the Bruins really kind of took this game in their own hands and kind of to do what they want with it. Marchand, Maroon doing their jobs well, trying to get in their heads, and that's what we wanted to see before game 1, and it's been absolutely fantastic. Hopefully they can do that again tonight. If I'm taking a forward out, it's Lauko. Yeah, Lauko's definitely one that you could take out here in this situation. I think that he would be the guy that would come out instead of Brazeau at the end of whenever he comes back, but Lauko did have a nice block at the end of the last game there, so if you're going to give anything to him, you got to give that. That was a good attempt. Paul Frank, let's go Boston high. Boston Bruins are the best. Absolutely agree, Paul. we gotta keep this going though. We gotta keep this going against the Leafs tonight. Heading into Toronto after in Game 3, we need this energy up here. We need to keep this going, and I think we're gonna be in good shape if we head back to Toronto with a 2-game lead. Toronto has a very good atmosphere once again, like the Boston Bruins do. Well, all Boston franchises, all of them. But it's still going to be a tough game when we head there. TD Garden's a tough environment to be an away team in, and we have to take advantage of that. The Leafs tried to play the Bruins game, and they lost. I feel like, Felix, they did. They I feel like they were thinking too much about it. They were trying to get into the Bruins system of a game, which you can't do if you do want to win. And they definitely did go out there, showed them who's boss, really outplayed them, I will say, on the physicality side. Even though the hits were split down the middle, 50-50, it seemed like the Bruins were getting the better of the Leafs on that physicality side. Celtic, as a biased fan, obviously I'm confident too. Game 1 was amazing, a little worried against Rangers Hurricanes if we make it. And they do. Yeah, that's going to be a real test there of those teams, the Hurricanes, the Rangers. They've been playing well so far. I do want to say the Islanders kind of do scare me as well. Kind of seems like a weird one. The Islanders played very well in Game 1. I would say kind of outplayed the Hurricanes. Hurricanes did win that one, but it's going to be a tough matchup no matter who they play. And that's one thing that is really going to keep me on edge. It's going to make me really nervous going into the next series. If they do make it, once again, the Leafs could completely wash away their chances, but it's going to be a very fun series regardless, but a lot of nerves coming from that too. I thought he was hurt after blocking that shot. I kind of did too. I didn't know if he was going to be fully okay. It seems like we haven't heard anything about him being injured or not, so I'm fine on that. Fine on that front. What's your favorite? Do you mean who is your favorite Boston Bruin, Paul? If the case, all time would be Patrice Bergeron. I feel like it's a bit of a biased one, but right now I gotta say I'm a huge Jeremy Swayman fan. Like I don't know why. I love the goalie tandem on that, probably because I'm a goalie myself, so I kind of had that bit of bias, but just having a situation like these two do, I love them both. Allmark, what he's come from, that documentary he had, I don't know if that was on, NESN or whatever, or if it was just on Sportsnet, but that is a really nice thing to see. It's just something that I really do like. Mr. Snow Gaming, what does Kirk Day mean? That's my name. Yeah, it's a name bar for videos, but it's just there on the stream anyways. Let's see, any more updates? Do we have any final things? I will be ending the stream here soon, as the game will start in 15 minutes approximately. That's when all the broadcasts start and everything, but I will pull up here. I might pause again, do apologize. The lineups from Fluto Shinzawa here. He has the lineups for what we've seen in the game so far in warm-ups. Zacha, Pastrnak, Marchand, Coyle, DeBrusk, Lauko, Geeky, Frederic, Beecher, Boqvist, Maroon. Lindholm, McAvoy, Grizzly, Carlo, Peak, Shatton, Kirk, and Ullmark. Switching up Peak and Shatton, Kirk on the sides. I noticed that. Johnny Beecher, I think, would be I would probably switch Beak for Boqvist. I mean, Beecher is very good on the face-offs. That's his specialty, it seems like. But either way, I dig what we're seeing here right now. I think this is going to be a good game. Not too much to stray away from the difference, but it's going to be a good one. If the Boston Bruins make it to round 2, Florida advances, do you think the Bruins will lose them 2 in a row? I don't know. I really don't know. This is going to be a bit of a different situation this season, I think. I think that the goaltending situation was one thing that killed them last year against the Panthers. They didn't rotate them enough, or soon enough, I guess you could say. But I think now, what we noticed is a whole different team as well. Bergeron, Krejci gone, putting in Zacha, Coyle, so it's going to be a different series. The Panthers are really good. You hate to admit it. They're a really good team. But I don't know. I think I would need to see at least one game to see it. I probably need to look at their previous game history from this season to be able to make a full assessment. But I do like that series if that were to go back. I'm a big Nathan Horton and Sean Thornton fan from the past. 2 very big Bruins legends, I will say there. Is the goalie announced not or yet? Mr. Snow Gaming, it is. I don't know. Here we go, yeah. Linus Ullmark is starting for this game. They are alternating for the 28th straight game. So, what some people expected, what some people didn't, but I don't hate the idea. Ullmark is starting this game. Whether they go back to Swayman next game, once again, we'll probably won't know until warm-ups, but Jim Montgomery is seeming to do the right thing and following up from a mistake in the playoffs last year. Great stream, Kirk. Really popped by for the last couple minutes, but keep it up. We'll be coming back for as you do these. Thank you, Celtics Digest. Hope you enjoyed for the time, and we're going to have a good series here. We're going to have a very fun time over these next few days and weeks heading in, no matter how long the Bruins are in the playoffs, but let's hope it is for the foreseeable future. Thank you, Paul. I do appreciate that, and I enjoy bringing you all the Boston Bruins news. It's nice to stay up to date with the team, being able to bring it to more Bruins fans. It's just really fun in general, and I do enjoy doing this. Beecher takes the face-off and drifts the wing. Yeah, that's what they should do, Gregor. If they're not doing it this game already, that is, what my opinion is on Johnny Beecher here for this game. Felix Duncan. I've been really impressed with Peak, and I was a bit unsure at the deadline, but now I love his play. I think he'll be a bit underrated in the playoffs. I do as well, Felix. I really like Andrew Peak. I love the trade from the beginning. I know a lot of people were a bit hesitant where he was scratched a lot on Columbus, but it was just because Columbus has so many defense that they didn't really have a spot for him. They didn't really have a perfect fit for him, but he was such a great player. I think it was like the two or three seasons before he played all 82 games, which is, I think, what a lot of people missed out on, but he was a really sneaky addition, one that I really liked, and I think he fits really well into this lineup here for especially the playoffs. Even though they are rocking, I don't know if it's this one. Yeah, they are rocking the two right-handed defensemen on the third line, but Shattenkirk being on the power play, I think, is a must. So it is gonna work out for that, and I am excited to see what Pete can do here in this game upcoming, and just the whole playoff series as well. That's one thing that is going to be really good to see what he can do, make him prove a lot, and make this trade seem like a fleece for the Bruins. All right, so we are about 10 to 12 minutes away from game time, or until the broadcast starts. But I will be ending it here soon. Not yet, but I will be ending it here probably in about 5 minutes. So I'm gonna have a look and see if there's any more updates here. I'll throw up the Maple Leafs line, see what we think about these. I don't know if there's any difference from game 1 here. I can't recall right now, but either way, that's what we're seeing for the Maple Leafs tonight. Bertuzzi, Matthews, Domi, Nyes, Tavares, Marner, Robertson, Holmberg, Yarncrow, Dwyer, Kemp, and Reeves. Riley, Labushkin, Benmo, McCabe, Emerson, Liljegren. Samsonov starts again, and Joseph Wall. Okay. I think that we're going to see a lot more Ryan Reeves this game. I think that's one thing that the Maple Leafs want to do to get the physicality going in their direction. However, I don't know if this is going to be exactly what they're going to do. I think it's going to be something that is going to catch a lot of people by surprise, I guess you could say, if he's going to be on the ice more or less than what we've seen last game. But either way, it's going to be a pretty strong series, or I guess you could say game, from this Maple Leafs team, if I were to guess. Domi a bit of a clown last game. Wonder if he will clean it up. But he's going to have to clean it up. You could see Sheldon Keefe after the game, and that's one thing I agreed with him on, that it was a stupid penalty Domi took. He will need to clean it up a bit. He's been pretty good for the Maple Leafs as of late, but you can't go taking any of those penalties in a playoff series, especially against any of the teams that are in here, just because they'll burn you on it. That's one thing especially, that you can't get the frustration too heavy. I understand that frustration is definitely going to come there, but you don't want to give any opponent any chances. Good night, guys. Let's go Beast 2. NL Rider, appreciate you here in the stream. You've been here. I think you've pretty much been here the whole time. So let's go for a 2-0. Let's go for a 2. Good job, bud. Go Bees. Thank you, Uncle H. It's going to be a good game. I'm probably going to do a post game after this. If it's not going to be after this game, it'll be tomorrow morning. Kind of take a look at the game, any other news we get. Going to watch on NESN. Yeah, I mean, that is better than the Sportsnet broadcast, because it's all going to be Leafs bias. So I love rough playoff hockey, but Domi wasn't playing hockey. He was just trying to injure the guys. That's true. Domi kind of got out of his game a bit. He went I think he's went a bit too far on what he was trying to do, straying away from the Leafs' plan. I think that was also another big loss for them for that reason. Is that, Domi was going to put that team on the penalty kill when he was out there. He was trying to stray away from his game, get too physical. So I think that it's going to be an interesting one to see, but it's gonna be a fun game. So we have about 10 minutes. I probably will end it down here now. See if there's any more final updates before we do get started. Joe Haggerty's. I'll read this out. I'm not going to put the screenshot up. Linus Ullmark gets the start for Game 2. I would have started Jeremy Swayman after his brilliance in Game 1. And given his general mastery of the Maple Leafs this season, Bruins opening themselves for a lot of second guessing if it doesn't work out tonight. I can agree with that. My guess is they told the goalies they would alternate them for the first 4 games, and then it would be opened up for whoever was performing best after that. Either way, rest of the NHL will be watching to see how the rotating the goalies works in the playoff if it plans out. I do agree with that. That's gonna be a big thing. I don't know if they're gonna rotate them for the first 4. I could see the first 2 definitely, but because it's happening. But that was my guess prior, and I think that's gonna be the right decision here ultimately. But yeah, seeming like that's the final updates we have here. Gonna be a very good game, and I will be keeping up to date with this. We'll be keeping you guys updated, whether, like I said, after the game or tomorrow morning, depending on what happens, because I do want to watch the game later tonight as well. So, I'll be keeping you guys updated, but I'm going to call it here. I'm going to end off the first stream. I think it went well. Great conversation. A lot of you guys were here. Good conversation about it. I'll do a final little update. Linus Ullmark is starting. Linus Ullmark is starting tonight for the Bruins instead of Jeremy Swayman. William Nylander is out for game 2 as well as game 1. So a big revelation there. We need to take advantage of that. But it seems like we're rocking and rolling. So if you did enjoy the stream, make sure to hit the like button. Hit the sub button as well if you do want to stay up to date. I'll be keeping you guys updated, as always, with all the Bruins news we have here heading into the playoffs. Hopefully, we're going to be talking about the playoffs for a long time here, and we don't want to be talking about this offseason just yet. So I do appreciate everybody here. First stream, didn't know if anybody was actually going to join, but I had a really fun time. That hour flew by, I got to say that. But let's go Bruins. Hope for a 2-0 series lead tonight. And we'll have some conversation in the video tomorrow or tonight. But Bruins fan, bye guys. Hopefully Bruins go 2-0. Yes, I agree. Thank you for being here. Great job, Bud. Go Bees. The stupid don't fall from the tree with Domi. Absolutely, Gregor. I do agree with that. And I expect them to clean it up tonight. But, things like that don't really change too much from going from game 1 to 2. But, that's all I got, guys, here. If you like I said, if you did enjoy, make sure to give the video a like. Hit the sub button. But had a fun time. Gonna have a very nervous watch of this game, but I do appreciate all you guys once again. I will be streaming a lot more during these playoffs, but right now, gonna be the end for this one. Maybe next game I'll do another stream, maybe a watch along, but yeah, I don't know yet. So once again, final goodbyes. I do appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. Let's go Bruins. Have a good game, and see you later.